Hey guys, welcome to Chaos Unfiltered. I'm your host, Abby, and today we are going to be talking about healing. And for me, I'm going to be talking about healing from my past relationship, but you can take this advice anywhere. You can take it if you're healing from a friendship that ended, or a loved one that passed away, or just healing in general, right? Like you've just been down and sad, and you're just trying to figure out how to heal, how to become yourself again. For me, trying to become myself again was quite hard, right? Like, especially after a breakup, you had all of these, oh, for us, you're thinking about us, you're thinking about you two together. Now you have to change that mentality from an us mentality to a you mentality. So, what do you want to do? There's no longer an us, which can be really sad, right? But now you need to focus on you and what you want to do with your life. And for me, like, that really helped me heal of just planning things, because that was the hardest part, was that we had planned so much together, moving in together, spending time together, going on certain dates together, right? And those aren't happening anymore. So switching from okay, now what do I want to do was kind of hard, but it did help me be happy and be excited for my future, right? Like now I have things to be excited for, going on vacation, moving and going to live closer to my friends, the summertime, like all of those things that at one point post breakup were so anxiety inducing, would cause me like an overwhelming amount of emotions. They no longer cause those negative emotions. I'm now excited for my future. I'm now excited to see what my future holds, right? Because I still have all of these plans and I can still accomplish all of those plans. I don't need a person to do it with. Like, yeah, it would be nice. Don't get me wrong. It's human nature to want to be with someone. But it's still important, and especially after a breakup, to focus on yourself. Don't rush back into a relationship before actually being ready and processing your past relationship. I think that is so important. And that's something I haven't really done in the past either. I have been so quick to jump into a new relationship or just get back on dating apps. Maybe I'm not even in a relationship, but I'm not doing what's best for me to heal. And this time I'm really taking that time to heal, and that is so incredibly important. I also think you need to take the time to process those emotions, the sad ones, the ones that make you feel upset, all of those emotions, like those are important to process, right? Like it's okay to not be okay with the fact that this relationship just ended. Like it's okay to feel those feelings. It's okay. Like your feelings are validated. You were with this person for a reason. You weren't just doing it to do it. At least I hope you weren't. So feel those emotions, like cry it out, right? But you can't sit there and be depressed for 4 to 5 days, right? Like you got to get up, you got to get moving, because definitely for me, the longer I'm in that slump, the harder it is for me to get out of that slump. So getting yourself back into the routine, taking that second like to be sad and be like, hey, yeah, it's okay that I feel this way. It's okay to miss him, but that's not going to stop me from achieving my goals. And that's something that was hard for me, was to just remember you can still achieve your goals without that person. I also think something that's super important is getting yourself back into a routine, right? What did you do when you were with them? What did you do when before you were with them? Stuff like that, right? Like, so for me, I have always been really active in the gym, but I had kind of fallen off because I was prioritizing my relationship, prioritizing spending time with them, stuff like that. But now I have all this free time, so I can get back into those healthy habits, stuff like that, and get back into the gym more consistently. So that's something I really did, was focus on the gym. Uh, I also, found a hobby. Like, I do this podcast now. I post TikToks, stuff like that, just to keep me busy too. Like, I think that's really what has helped me too, is like the distraction standpoints of it. Like, it's okay to think about those feelings and stuff like that, but I also think kind of distracting yourself from those negative feelings is so important, and just keeping yourself busy, especially at first, because for a while I could not sit in my living room just watching TV because I would start spiraling. My anxiety would hit, the depression would hit, stuff like that. And it was hard to get out of that. So keeping myself busy, staying on FaceTime with friends, focusing on making funny TikToks or figuring out my podcast, stuff like that. Like keeping my mind busy was so important to help me heal and to also help me just keep my mind off of my ex, because if all I'm doing is thinking about him, I'm never going to be able to truly move on. And that you have to be able to move on. You can't always be thinking about the what ifs, the maybe we'll get back together. Like, hey, maybe you will. That's great. But you also can't put your life on hold waiting on that person. You still have dreams to achieve. You still have goals you want to meet. Meet them. You don't need someone to help you get there. You can do it yourself. And honestly, you'll be more proud of yourself if you do it yourself rather than with someone else. I also think something that really helped me with healing was just reaching out to my friends, keeping in touch with my friends more than I was when I was in a relationship, and spending a lot of time with loved ones and my friends, right? Like I saw my friends, I would hang out with them, but I didn't hang out with them as frequently as I did before I got in a relationship. And that's normal to like not hang out with your friends as much because you want to be with your significant other, stuff like that. But it also makes it a little bit hard and you kind of lose those friendships maybe, or you need to like regrow them. Luckily for me, I really didn't need to do those kinds of things. Like I always stayed in touch with my friends, like Snapchatting, texting every day, stuff like that, but I just didn't see them in person that much. So I relied heavily on my friends to help me get through this tough time. And they did an amazing job just reaching out, asking me to hang out, asking me to go do things, or just listening to me when I did need to talk about those things, right? Like, I know I was annoying as fuck at the beginning, just crying, getting upset over the same thing. They're like, Abby, we've heard this 1,000 times. But they never complained about it. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful. So I definitely say rely on those friendships and those loved ones to really help you get through that, through the tough time. That's so important. I will also say something at the very beginning that I think helped me, but also made it a little bit harder for me to heal, was how I would listen or look at old videos, old pictures, or even things that had his voice in it. Like, I would listen to those things and they brought me comfort, but they also made me miss him, right? And so if I just keep constantly missing him, I'm not able to heal myself. I'm just kind of prolonging it. I'm making it harder to heal. I'm causing myself that pain. To hear his voice was painful for me. And I honestly wish I wouldn't have done that at the time because it was hard to like break that habit, to move past that. I'm definitely past that now. I'm definitely not in that space anymore. And I'm very proud of myself for getting there because that's not an easy thing to do at all. And so I totally understand if that's what you need to do. I would just say, don't do it for too long. Don't make it harder for yourself. No contact is definitely hard, but I think no contact has really helped me of just moving on and not really forgetting him, because I still think about him almost every day. I still sometimes catch myself being like, oh, I miss my boyfriend. But instead of getting sad like I used to when I thought about those things, now I'm like, ha, you don't have a boyfriend, you dumb bitch. Like, get moving. Like, it's just you now. And I can kind of laugh about those things too, right? And I wasn't able to laugh about those at one point. At one point, those were just very sad things to think about. And now, I mean, I don't like being single. I don't think anyone really likes being single. Maybe they do. But I mean, it's human nature to want to be with someone, to share experiences with someone. So it's hard, to go from having those shared experiences to going to not having any shared experiences, or not being able to share those experiences with a significant other anymore, right? But it's part of life. And that's something that I will keep saying is life is not going to stop for you to give you time to grieve. Life keeps moving on. Life's going to keep throwing shit at you. And you're either going to build yourself up, become a better person, be able to handle those obstacles, or they're going to fucking crush you. And I really hope for everyone listening to this podcast that you build yourself up, that you can overcome those obstacles. Because if you let everything crumble down around you, it's going to be so much harder to build yourself up if you let it keep happening. Something else that I did once I got out of the relationship pretty quickly was I looked into therapy, and I actually got into therapy just to be able to talk about what was going on with someone that doesn't know me and doesn't know him, right? Like, I just needed to talk about those things. I needed to kind of process out loud, like, why this happened, right? And that really benefited me. I will say, if you are a person that's like, oh no, therapy's not for me, hey, give it a shot, right? I was not that therapy wasn't for me, but I always made the joke like, oh, if I go to therapy, I'm going to be less funny. I still think I'm pretty funny, so I don't think therapy has taken that away from me. I think therapy has just taught me to be comfortable with the uncomfortable things. And I will also say something that was hard for me with therapy is just getting those diagnoses, right? Like, oh, you're diagnosed with anxiety, you're diagnosed with moderate depression. I already knew about the anxiety. I've always kind of had a little bit of anxiety, but the depression, I was like, fuck. Like, that one hurts. But I didn't let that hurt me. I kept moving forward. I kept trying to build myself up, right? Because it is just a diagnosis. They have to diagnose you with something. And it wasn't like I was going to start taking pills for this, anything like that. I really just wanted to find a healthy coping mechanism, because what I was doing was not helping. So I wanted to try anything. I have been to therapy like 3 times now. I will say for me, I don't think I'm going to go to therapy as frequently as I was. I think talking it out those first 2 times, crying it out with someone that I did not know, really helped me. And just kind of seeing a different perspective, right? I think therapy helped me realize, like, why didn't my relationship work out? Why were we not compatible? Why? All those whys that at one point I was like, it doesn't make sense. Like, we could just compromise, stuff like that. But then I would sit there and I would think more deep into it, and she would make me think more deep into it. And I'm like, no, like, as much as it fucking sucks to say, long term, that wouldn't have worked. And honestly, I'm so happy that I can sit here today and say those things, because 3 weeks ago, I would have sat here and been like, no, we can make this work. We can become better people for each other, stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, people can do that. I don't think there's a perfect person out there for anybody. I think with all relationships come obstacles. You fight for who you want to fight for, stuff like that. But I think there are certain topics that are non-negotiables, right? Like, there are certain things that you shouldn't have to change yourself for to please someone else. And there are certain things that you should expect from a relationship. Like, and there was non-negotiables that both of us were trying to be okay with that we shouldn't have been okay with, right? Like, it's okay that we had differing opinions. It's okay that we weren't compatible lower than surface level, and that's okay. We had fun times. We had good memories. And I wouldn't even say it's a lesson learned. Like, it kind of is a lesson learned, though, right? Like, I learned more about myself in that relationship, and I learned what I need out of relationship. And I think that's something important, too, is to think about those things. After a breakup, even if you're the one that did the breaking up with, right? You need to sit there and ask yourself when it's time, like, maybe not the first week when you're still upset that a breakup happened, but ask yourself, in the next relationship, what do you want and what are your non-negotiables? And stick to those, because that's one thing that I struggle with, is I've had certain non-negotiables for a while. And then I meet a guy and I'm like, oh, it's fine. We'll be fine. And look, same shit, different font. It still wasn't fine. Definitely think about those things when you're getting into a relationship or anything like that. But that's not what this is about. This is not about getting into a relationship. It's about how to heal and what helped me in my healing journey. For me, also, something that helped me heal was just becoming myself again and finding myself again, which might sound weird, but I have started doing things that I used to not do anymore. Like, I do my hair, I got my nails done, those things that like make you feel better about yourself. I think those are important to do post breakup, because it can be hard to get out of that funk and just feel like you're not pretty anymore, you're not good enough, because I mean, the person that you wanted everything with did just break your heart, or vice versa, whatever, however it happened, right? But building up your confidence again, right? I think that is so important. And that has helped me a lot too, is just trying to build up my confidence and being confident in myself rather than relying on other people to build up my confidence. Because if other people are giving me the confidence, it still doesn't matter, because I need to have the confidence in myself. I will say another thing that has significantly helped me is I actually got this motivational quotes app that just randomly tells me random motivational quotes. Sometimes they're not that motivational, I'm going to be honest, but they pop up on my lock screen. They'll actually notify me on my Apple Watch, stuff like that. And so they'll change throughout the day of just positive quotes, positive affirmations, random things. Some of them aren't that helpful, but other ones I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, I had one that was like, hey, it's a tough time, it's not a tough life, right? Totally true. And I think that's so important to realize. And those motivational quotes have also made me kind of like sit back and think about the relationship, and like also be positive for my future and be hopeful for my future. I also will say planning things in the future that are just for yourself, planning a trip, and doing things that are kind of outside of your comfort zone have really helped me. I'm a very like extroverted, introverted person, which might be a little confusing. I am pretty introverted unless I get to know you, then I'm extremely extroverted, or I'm extremely extroverted if I do not care how you think about me, which isn't a ton, because I am a big people pleaser, which is something that I'm trying to work on too, is my people pleasing. But putting myself out there in ways that I used to not do, right? Like, I'm planning a solo trip. I would never get on a plane by myself, but I'm going to do it. Get myself out of my comfort zone, right? I go to the gym alone more frequently, which is something I also used to not do. I mean, even posting on social media, posting these podcasts is so totally out of my comfort zone, because I'm a person that says I'm an open book. Like, ask me anything, I'll tell you. And that's totally true. But putting it out there for just random people to hear is terrifying. It is nerve-wracking to think other people are going to have an opinion on my life and stuff like that. But I'm trying to get to a place where it's like, I don't need to please everybody. I only really need to please myself at this current moment, right? If I'm proud of what I'm doing, that's all that matters. And I've gotten a lot of support from friends, family, stuff like that. And that's all that matters, really. So with all that, I think there's a lot that you can take and use for your own healing journey, whatever you're trying to heal through, right? I will say everybody's healing journey is going to be different, right? I'm not 100% healed. It's been a month. There's no way I'm over this. I'm definitely not over this. But I'm doing better. And those positives are just so important right now, of just like, hey, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, you were not in this headspace. So those baby steps are getting me to a better spot. But everyone's healing journey is different, right? Like, I personally don't think anyone can heal from anything in less than a week. I definitely do think it takes time, but you shouldn't put a time frame on it or let people judge you if, like, oh, I'm healed 2 months later, I'm going to put myself out there again. And people are like, oh, that's really quick. Fuck them. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, right? But it could be the other page of, hey, it's a year and I'm still not ready to put myself out there. That's okay. Take the time you need. Take the time to be the best version of yourself for the next person, for yourself. Fuck whoever's next. Do it for you. As much time as you need. I thoroughly believe that is the best way to heal, is just taking time. Getting into those routines, talking to your friends, reaching out when needed, seeking the help you need, right? Maybe it's not the friendships you need. Maybe you do need therapy. Maybe you need a different approach on how to talk about your feelings. Maybe you need to start journaling. Like, there are so many ways to help you heal that you might think, oh, that's stupid. I would never do that. Trust me, been there, done that. I would never do therapy. But look, it helped. Journaling could help. You might think it's stupid, but it might help you. And so, also part of the healing journey is just trial and error. What's going to help me heal? What's going to help me feel better? Finding those things, and also being okay with, like, trying something and be like, oh, yeah, no, I can't do this. Like, at first, I was really trying to start reading a lot just to get my head out of the funk. I could not read because I was reading and it was love stories, or reading didn't keep me attending to that as much, so my head was still wandering to my ex. Like, it just wasn't working for me. Same with watching TV. Like, it wasn't a big enough distraction that I was staying occupied that I couldn't keep my mind off my ex. So that didn't work for me at first. Now I watch TV, now I read a lot, and I don't have those thoughts. My mind might wander. They might think about my ex, but I don't let those feelings overwhelm me anymore. I accept those feelings. I'm like, oh, hey, I miss him. I miss his voice. Or like, oh, look, this reminded me of him. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. And then I move on. You know, I feel those feelings and I move on. That's something that's really important that my therapist taught me, was like, it's okay to feel those feelings, right? You don't always have to think the negatives of someone. And I definitely don't think the negatives of my ex by any means, but it's okay to accept those feelings and just kind of move on from them. Like, you don't have to let them bury you. You can really just take a second, acknowledge them, and move past them. Something my therapist also told me was just sitting with them, right? Why are you feeling these things? Why do you feel these things about that person? Stuff like that. And that also helped me, because I was like, you know what? Like, why do I think those things? She even told me, make a pro and cons list, like, and really look at that. Like, what were the pros of the relationship? What were the cons? And that's when I really realized, like, a lot of it was surface level. And I was like, fuck. Like, I was so happy, so rose-colored glasses on, that I didn't even realize that shit. And, I mean, my friends have told me those things before too, but hearing it from an outsider, I think, helped me a lot. Because it's easy to ignore what my friends are saying. I'm like, you know, but when someone else is saying it, I'm like, fuck, are they right? And, I mean, she really didn't even tell me those things. She made me do it, and I was like, fuck. But, again, everyone's healing journey is different, and I think definitely reach out to those people if you can, whoever, to have a shoulder to cry on, have a shoulder to lean on when things are tough, right? If you don't have anybody, like, definitely look into a therapy or a journaling method, stuff like that. Like, there are tons of ways to express your emotions and feel like someone's listening without having anybody listen, if you're not comfortable with having people listen to those things. But something to end this off with is just know it's a tough time. It's not a tough life. You will get through this. It will definitely get easier. It's going to take some time. And I cannot tell you how much time it's going to take. You can't tell yourself how much time it's going to take. But there's going to be a point where you wake up and it's not overwhelming you anymore. It's just a little bit of pain, right? Like, you might not fully ever get over it. And that's okay. Like, my ex will always have a place in my heart. And that's okay, but you have to keep living your life and reach those goals that you want to obtain, because you can do it. You just have to push yourself and lean on those that you can. So definitely take that time. Everyone's healing journey is different, like I said. But you will get back on your feet and you will be so much stronger after you get through this. Thanks for listening, guys.